West Side people talking West Side things that's just going on here on the West Side. Typically, we joined by the congressman, but you know when he in session, you rarely don't see him, which is why he's not
he's
here
here.
now.
He's here today. He's in
Oh,
town.
okay. Well, hopefully he slide through. You know,
he might.
we
He
get the
might. We
congressman,
might get a surprise from a few people
and
today.
then we'll be able to talk about some things that's going on. I don't know how closely y'all following everything place in the community, but we got some interesting developments, man, on the mayoral front, on the automatic front, just in general. Hell, even on my front, the police district council at last vote total, everything was all tied up between the third and fourth place position, and we still haven't had our race called because of it. You know, now my position hasn't changed. Me and Arewa, we both are still uh, 2-1 respectfully. You know what I mean? She is in first place and I'm second, and that hasn't changed, and so it won't change. But third and fourth is still up for grabs. So there's a couple things up for grabs. So
who's in third and fourth?
Carmelita and Darius. Darius first, and then Carmelita. And so they are going to be tussling back and forth for that position. Let me check it now. Actually, yep, and they still tied up for it as I'm checking now. So yeah, we still haven't been called, but Tuesday is the day though.
Yeah.
I was still trying to figure out how were they gonna do this, because from my understanding it was the vote by mails, they had to the 14th to count them in the provisionals. So does that mean that once the 14th come, they're cutting it off? Whatever's accounted for is accounted for, or do they still count even after?
It's cut off. It's got to be cut off because they have to prepare the ballots for the fourth.
Right, and
that's a lot of printing.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is that's still about 40,000 ballots that haven't been accounted for.
Really?
Yeah. Now, when I just be trying to keep in tune with everything, when I was looking at it, they were saying that there was about 90,000 ballots that was out anyway. It was, in fact, it was, I think it was about 99,000 when after the election, and so we knew that it was going to be a slow and steady pace to get to where we are now. So we know what's going on in various races. And last count, there was still about 40,000 out, but they said initially that they expected to get about 60,000 back anyway. So I guess that's along the lines of what was to be expected anyway.
But that wouldn't sway anyway towards the mayor, would it?
No, it wouldn't. No. Mayor, that race is
on other things.
For some of these other races, because in addition to like the 29th ward race being close, there was also the first ward where the vote by mail totals was still
trickling in.
Yeah, and really affecting the outcome of their race. But the current alderman, Daniel LaSpada, looks to be, at last count, he was about 27 votes over the 50 plus one mark. And I don't think that's going to change, basically. So he, just by the hair, will be getting past a runoff. So, but that don't change in the 29th ward, where after they done counted up the provisionals and the write-ins, there will be a runoff over here. There will be a runoff in the 29th ward to decide who's going to be the next official for those wards. So that's going to be very interesting, and it should be a real nice race, because now it comes down to two.
Right.
I think the question, though, is, and I heard this recently, is about voter fatigue.
No.
Is people going to come out if the choices that they have don't really like them? That's the question. And I'm not talking about the 29th ward. I just mean in general for even the mayoral campaign.
I think they'll come out.
Yeah, we're going to see.
I think they'll come out.
We're going to see. But, okay, the difference is we know people going to come out, especially, and I'm just going to call it, now we know white people going to come out in some respects because they come out very strong. Will the black people come out, though? That's we got to be real with ourselves here. Will our people come out to vote?
Well, when was the last big turnout for black voters? Obama? Maybe. Over 10 years ago? It could possibly still be. I mean, it's a very important election. It's obviously people are turned out to make the outcome what it is of Paul Vallis versus Brandon Johnson.
Right.
So that's a turnout in itself, unless you're saying that such a small turnout gave it the results that we're looking at right now. I tend to believe, since it is a runoff, there will be more people.
Mm.
You know? Hello. We got Carla.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Is that Mama Cora?
How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
We got you. We were just saying. Will there be more people turning out in this runoff race for mayor and the other positions, the other races? Because in the last few races, there were very few people showing up to vote. Even though we had a summer election this year.
Yeah.
For governor and congressman and state general assembly members, and the turnout was extremely low for the summer. Could it have been that people didn't know? Could it have been that people were more preoccupied with vacations, or whatever it could have been? I don't know. It just was a very small turnout. It was less than 30%, right?
Yeah.
It's like 20.
Like about 27.
Yeah.
And right now we're about 35, which is on par with 2015 and 2019.
Yeah. But it just amazes me that people want so much, people deserve so much. Look, why is it doing? It's not on your screen. It's not on that. And
it's probably that. That's that home one thing.
Yeah.
Change it down there.
Change it to.
Change the internet to this.
Okay.
Yeah, people. Yeah, I don't know, man. What do y'all think about this mayoral race? There's a lot being said, or is it about race for y'all? I mean, at the end of the day, is it? I'm black. I'm voting for the black person. How y'all feeling, Miss Jacobs? What's your thoughts about this?
It's not about race as far as I'm gonna let you know I'm from Brandon Johnson,
right?
And I know what he has done. I know what he stands for, so I can answer for that part as far as me. I can't answer for others, but I'm just saying, I don't. I mean, I know it's not for us to understand or whatever how he went, but I've heard him how hard he said he had it coming up and all this and those, and he went, he just had it hard coming up. So if you got all this money to move around in Chicago and you trying to help people, you should think about your people, how hard you had to come up. So come back, bring it back to your people. That's how I see that one. I mean, but everybody has their own opinion. I don't get me wrong. But that's how I see him. Why would he go that way?
Well, it could be possible that, he still has a little grudge against the mayor. You know what I mean?
What that got to do with if Brandon won, what I'm trying to say is, why he didn't come over, to his brother,
Right.
That's his brother. You got money to pass out to everybody. So if you didn't win, and like I said, if you didn't win, hey, bring it back to your people.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna take it to somebody that already got money, had money, was born with money, whatever, but you say how you hard. You had it coming out, and your people having such a hard time. So why not help your own?
Yeah.
They have theirs.
Yeah. I don't know what Dr. Wilson's position is, but he's obviously taking a position against Brandon Johnson. And, but again, it could definitely be based on money. You know, he's a businessman, so he's gonna play his cards in a business type of sense. You know.
Okay, so you saying money follows money, you know.
In so
If you
many
ain't
words.
got it, you ain't with it.
It's a fact. Got to get some money.
Yeah.
But I think, you know what, Dr. Wilson, I'll say this about his, growing up the way he did and then having, the ability to do for himself. I think that's so important in politics. Like, that's the only way that you're going to be able to have people that are individuals and not beholden to whether it's unions or businesses or figure out their way to end up in some type of corrupt manner, man. Like, the one thing that I can admire about Dr. Wilson is that he coming in, huh?
Break it out.
Oh man, what's going on? Let me see. I said the one thing I admire about Dr. Wilson is that he's coming with his own money, so he isn't beholden to anybody, man. That makes it easier to navigate and make your own decisions. When people, whether it's labor groups or union groups or businesses get behind you, you're beholden to them. Even if a community of people get behind you, you're beholden to them. And I think that's one of the ways that we as Black people, outside of having candidates that can support themselves, need to be more involved in politics. We got to start supporting these guys, man. Because when you really have a people-driven campaign, and it's the people that put you in there, them the only ones you got to respond to. And too often we don't have enough candidates that can actually do that, because our people don't be involved in politics the way other parties do. And we got it. And we got it. We got that bread too. I don't be wanting to hear that.
Well, when you saying money, like Dr. Wilson, he has the money, and like you said, being beheld to other groups.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. But on the other hand, money follows money. That's the group you're gonna always follow. So, what does that really mean by having your own choices and decisions when you're gonna go where the money gonna go anyway? I'm not gonna say, you know what, forget all those people that's millionaires, billionaires. I'm over here by myself and I'm gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
I don't need them. They never do that.
Yeah. That's true. But that's why I'm also saying that if we want something done for our community, we got to be more involved in that process. Because we still this day we consume so much. You know what I mean? Our output is far greater than what we bring in. And so I always I try to understand how is it that a people who's collectively, like in Black owned banks, for example, there's only $2.8 billion at last check. That maybe was 2017-ish or so. So there's about $2.8 billion in Black owned banks collectively. So I'm not saying that that's just representing us, but Black wealth. It's about 2.8 billion in banks. And our consumer spending index, we spend about 2.2 trillion. And I'm just like, man, this is that's an odd way of viewing things, because that means that we spending a lot more than we make, which, I mean, there's not a whole lot of us that can say different. You know what I mean? Even in myself, like in my example, in my case, I spend way too much on food and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And
everybody spend much on food.
Yeah.
Just because of the cost.
Yeah, but even just like restaurant though, I mean, I could cut costs significantly if I stayed at home and cooked. I'm saying, so like understanding that, and that's my vice, eating out. But some of us buy shoes, and some of us buy liquor, and some of us gamble, and this, that, and so we spend much more than we actually have. But if we allocated some of that to political, yeah. But if we allocated that to our political means, then we could be in a better position, though.
but people can't think beyond their front door. And let's not even talk about politics, because if you think about it, it's all a psychology. People go and spend because it makes them feel good. They want because they make them feel good. They go out and do the things that they think really makes them feel good. And that's the bottom line. No one looks at longevity and what the future may need and have. It's all based on right now and how I feel. And if we can get politics to follow the same suit, I was sitting there thinking on my way into the show today. I'm like, all these people we broadcast out to, and many of them have organizations and other groups and things. But they want you to indulge on their stuff, but they never want to indulge. They never want to be involved. And I'm like, how's
you all breaking up?
Let me see. I don't know. Oh, I think that one's on the wrong one. See how slow they move?
Yeah.
That one's on the wrong. So hold on. I'm going to tune it up for you. I think that one's because I started it up. I started up a little late. But
All right. Hello.
All right. Is that better, Miss Jacobs?
Yeah, that's better.
Much better. Okay, good. But I was saying, it's just odd to me how we reach out to so many different groups and networks that many of them have their own, organizations and things, and some of them never tune in. And I'm saying to myself, is it the time? No, because if we did it during the week, they wouldn't tune in either.
Mm-hmm.
So some people just, it's like you waste your time with them, but they don't want to even spend no time to indulge with the big picture with us.
Yeah.
So, hold on. I know how it goes. A little slower.
But you all know this, and like I said last Sunday, I guess I repeat myself. I'm learning things in my older years. We're just not together.
Oh yeah.
Some of us we talk a good game up front, but when it comes down to the showdown, you ain't nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
We're just not together.
No.
We're not together.
Everybody wants togetherness when it's something for them. Believe me.
True.
When somebody wants something for themselves, they're reaching out, reaching over, reaching under every which way they can to try to get to you. But as soon as you just say, hey, just listen up, listen in, and let us know you're still there. They don't want to be involved. They don't want nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. They only want what they want when they want it. That's it.
Yeah.
And I've seen it so many. I always go back to this to 1992, 91, 92, when there was an issue over by Little Jack Park over there off of Pine and Lake Street. And the community over there, they were having some problems with crime or something. I can't remember what it was, burglaries or something. And they reached out to NAC. So Ms. Spann said, we're going to go over there and rally around that community, get people out to try to get some support for that community and help them. And the first thing Ms. Spann told me was, we got to have a hook. I'm like, a hook? Didn't you just tell me they got problems and we going over there to help them? She said, no, we got to get a color TV or something and raffle it off. And at the time, this has been 30-something years ago. And she said a color 20-inch color TV. And I'm thinking, we got to get them a color. Back then, color TV was like $400 for a 20-inch TV. And I'm like, well, I guess if we got the money for it. But it was a free raffle. It wasn't even a raffle where they had to pay for a ticket. It was just come out, put your name in the hat and win a TV, you know, and that's how we got him out. Now we did get the chief of police to come out. Matt Rodriguez was there, which he was chief of police at the time. Calvin Giles, which was a state rep that had taken over for Robert LaFleur at the time that had just recently passed, and he came out. I'll never forget it. But why do we have to give people tangible things to understand that what we're trying to get them to know is,
well,
they ain't no me without us.
Well, that was the culture that was created for us, though. You know, I mean, I don't want to go back to the whole analogy of picking yourself up by your bootstrap and all of that type of stuff, but I mean, when you create just a wealth of safety nets, like, I mean, every time you turn around, you damn near gotta we've created, like, in so many situations, whether it's we gave out turkeys and hams here this year, and I always say I'm kind of against doing that. I mean, if people need them, but what has we've gotten to the point where the people that don't need them are the ones showing up, and it was it was a guy down there that came and was like, no, let me speak to Danny. Cause he know I come and get my turkey and ham every year. And he was mad, bro. Like, bro, you look like a well-to-do. You look like you can afford a turkey and ham, brother. Like, it's so, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people in here don't look like they could, and we need that. But I'm just saying, look what we've created by consistently doing that type of stuff. You have, and again, I understand the difficulty of trying to, work your way out of a situation, but it takes you, in my opinion, to put yourself in that situation and you to get it out. And so, like, we've had to create, look how we've had to augment our programs. We have to augment our programs such that we go to people's home to pick them up, to take them to work. We give them bus. We make sure that they can get back home from work. Like, we've gotten to a point, like, people don't even have to do their own walking in some respects. Like, man, I ain't number 35, but hell, when I used to work, we lived on Wildland, Washington. I worked on North Avenue in Laramie, and I walked to work every day. You know what I'm saying? If I couldn't get the OG car, I walked to work. Now my managers and them, they brought me home from time to time, but sometimes I had to walk home too. Man, it ain't a whole lot of that going on no more. You know what I'm saying? You just, I ain't gonna be able to make it today. Damn, ain't no bus. Ain't no. It's like, to me, I call it a culture of dependency. We've created such a culture where people don't want to go out and do a lot of the stuff for themselves, man, because they believe that somebody else is going to do it for them. And that's not helpful to our community at all. It's just not, man.
Well,
DeAndre and just as we talking about the culture thing, if y'all know anybody that's graduating this year, my friend is giving out scholarships.
Nice.
And I come with the link that they go and fill it out. She's giving out the $5,000 scholarship for college.
Yeah. Oh, that's dope.
If y'all know somebody that can fill out the application, let me know.
Oh yeah, my niece. Shit, my niece. What's the qualifications for it?
Low income. They gotta be low income.
Dang, I don't know.
We're focused on the west side and just trying to get applications in if they low income, just to help them out. Bet,
send that to my phone. If y'all got a flyer or something, I could definitely get that out and share that out.
I'll see you on the website so they can fill out the application and see what they need to do.
All right,
what
bet.
They need to have in qualification.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. Hey, I'm a big proponent of education.
Year, she's doing it for half the house to be over there. For Mother Walker, is the member. She used to be the director over there, so it's a scholarship for and members of Mother Walker. They used to be on half the household.
You used to be on Pine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't have any of those facilities like that anymore. It's been a long time.
Yeah, so I'll send it to you. I put on the link on here and send it to you, Deontay.
Okay, cool. That'll work. Man, but yeah, like I say, I always look at it. I could just call it a culture of dependency that we've created by consistently, you know, putting these programs in place. Now we need social support. I'm not against that at all. I'm not against safety nets, but I am against it when it gets to the point where it's almost like, well, damn, what are you gonna do for yourself? Otherwise, we're gonna be, in this cycle, man, running on the hamster wheel, so to speak. Um, we really got to figure out how to empower people, how to speak to them in such a way that they feel like they can utilize all the resources that's around them to be successful, because they can, because these programs are set up for them to be, and we got to figure out how to get them there. I see Guala just touched down. Y'all know Guala, he always talking about business, finances, and whatnot. I started off by saying I admire Dr. Wilson because he can come into the game with his own bag and he ain't got to be beholden to, certain groups. Now, I know what Steve was saying, well, money and money got to meet, though. You know what I mean? But if more black people had money, they could meet, and we wouldn't have to still, again, depend on other folks. You know what I mean? So we gotta we gotta start stressing these things and putting people in position to be more successful.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But I think a lot of people with money really don't want to waste time and waiting for money to come around.
Oh no, they not. No, they not. They not at all. They're not at all. But that's why I was like, that's what I'm saying. Um, that's what I'm saying. Like we got in this era right here. This is the most rich era to be in because you can make money in so many different ways. But it's all about applying yourself and taking what the knowledge that's available, because it's all around us now, and nobody's holding on to the secrets about making money now. What you find difficult is understanding, okay, how do I, put myself in a position where I could not have so much taxes come out of my check, or I could write this or that off, and what I mean. Now that becomes a little bit more difficult, but in terms of making money, like that's the era. There's no reason, man. There's no reason why we still struggle with in the ways that we struggle, other than we want to. But I understand. I understand survival. We trapped in that cycle, that mindset. But we don't have to. But this is an abundant world, so it's like one of those things where we've been so conditioned to survival that all we do is survive in the world of abundance.
Right.
Steve Harvey, I be watching him from time to time, and he be saying some dope stuff in terms of like motivation. But he was talking about like a flea, and the flea having a 36 inch jump or whatever, or and he said, if you took that same flea and you put it inside a jar and with a lid, it's gonna keep jumping and it's gonna keep bumping its head, because it's like, wait, it want to escape, but it can't escape. And then you have also trapped it such that it can only jump as high as the glass. And that's what we facing right now. Like, these people have the ability, but they are trapped because of having to live and be conditioned in this environment where all they believe is in survival. So like that flea, they are now, their paradigm is that they can only go so far and jump so high. And it's like, how do we change the mindset? And that's what we really need. I always talk about, like, what's being as a psychologist and looking to be that type of person that could speak that to our people. Like, bro, we only stuck for self, though. You're the only one limiting you. Like, this environment, not, because ain't no ceiling in the sky right here.
Right.
You feel me? Like, you only here because you refuse to travel, because you refuse to come up with other means of making it, because you decide that what's most important to you is drinking and drugs and sex. not all of this abundance that's around you that could fill you and build you up and your family. You know what I mean? And so we in this position, like I said, and it always start with self. Every transformation starts with self. It's self, then it's family, then it's community, then you can tackle the world. And some of us get it's where we don't even try to change self first. We go up for the world, and that's limited too, because you can't be. I was reading Mike Tyson, man. He another person that be saying some cold stuff as he done got older and got a little wiser. He said, "Look, you know, you could be a great man or you could be a good man." He said, a lot of people used to always tell him that he was a great man, but he wasn't a good man, you know? And he said he didn't really understand what that meant until he was in a room with good men but they weren't great men. And he said, so the thing is, a good man can become a great man, but a lot of great men aren't good men, And so, like, when you skip steps, when you don't transform self first, then family, then community, then the world, and you just try to go straight to the world, like, you are who you are at that moment, and that may not be beneficial to the world, So it's always transformation start with self, and our people got to understand that we got to transform self, become that good person that's needed in the world, in your family, for yourself, for your community. Then we go take over, man. But we trapped. What y'all say, man? How y'all feeling about the mental mindset of the community and where we at?
Mental mindset. Everybody's sleeping now.
Me, Guala, you on, shorty? Guala, you out
I
there?
told you. Everybody on survival, man, and until survival and what you got.
Yeah,
It
man.
depends on who you ask. Because if you talking to like the generation who are all up in where they spend most of their time on watching YouTube and video games, they live life like it's a video game. So it's just like that they just constantly going and you can just get another life. So it don't matter what you do in this one. Then if you asking something about older folks, they feel like ain't no change coming. They not gonna do much within after 30, 40, where they trying to make a change. So it depends on who you asking and what environment. My key thing.
Yeah, I feel
I butt in at the end though. I'm sure I missed a lot, but I just caught that.
Oh no, you good?
No.
Yeah, I think the only thing we opened up with, we was just talking about the runoff piece. That's all.
Well,
I told you what Congress said. He said, don't let your powder get dry. Don't get your powder wet. That's what he said.
Yeah. Keep your powder dry, or whatever.
Yeah, keep your powder dry. Yeah. Keep your powder dry. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that's definitely a war term. That's a fact. Yeah, your gunpowder. Yeah. Don't let your gunpowder get wet. Yeah,
that's right.
That's a fact.
Keep your powder dry. If you don't keep your powder dry, you won't be able to fire when you need it. So be prepared. That's all he's saying. But no, I mean, we're living in a world where there's a difference in views based on how we should live. And I honestly believe that many people that are third, fourth generation after civil rights movement, they don't see that as being current history. They don't see that as being that just happened 50 years ago. They see that as something that happened during slavery times or something. Oh, that was centuries away. No, that was modern history, modern day history when all of these things were going on. People weren't allowed to use the same bathrooms. People weren't allowed to go to the same schools or be educated, at the same level. Let's just go to that.
Mm-hmm.
Affordability of living in certain communities, or let's just talk about pay scales. People weren't even being paid anywhere close to what others were being paid because of the law.
Right.
And I guess it's hard for people that's 3-4 generations out of civil rights movement to understand that was just a few decades back. It wasn't in an era where it wasn't televised. It was televised. It was it was documented, well documented that these things were like that. But I think many of us take it for granted. That was just olden days. That was olden times. That had nothing to do with anything right now. And they don't realize it has everything to do with what's going on right now. I mean, even the way look at the abortions, Roe versus Wade. Who would have ever thought that would have been overturned after fighting for it since the 70s? I mean, it's been fought late 60s all the way to the 70s. It's been a fight. And then you say, well, what happened? Did women just give up? Or did men overpower that and change it? I think it's a little of both. I think it's a little of both. I think certain women just gave up on it. And it was like, maybe this ain't a real big issue. Because, like we had a young lady on the show, and she said, well, I'm not concerned about it because Illinois is not one of those states. Yeah, but what if you have to move to a state and have your career in a state that has those laws, and your daughter wanted to have a choice? Or you had wanted to have a choice. Now you don't. Do you feel some kind of way about that? Does it matter? I mean, we got to look at our rights, and once rights are starting to become, they take them away from you. Like somebody said, rights are like muscles. If you don't exercise them, you're going to lose them. You're going to get weak. And people don't realize that. We're becoming weaker and weaker. Now they're picking at, you can't have black books. What? Can't talk about black history. You can't talk these things. So I heard someone say, it's a waste of time to talk about how white people treated black people because that makes young white people feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, I think it was Paul Vallis or some shit, right?
Yeah, I think it was Paul Vallis that was saying that. Exactly. And
he said, how do you tell your child or some shit? I don't know. It was
you tell
some
them the truth. That's what you tell them. I mean, at the appropriate age, but not telling them the truth leads them in which direction.
Right.
It's a sad thing that we waste a lot of time on things that's already been brought forth and put in place that supposedly change the direction of what was wrong, and now people are saying, no, let's go back to it. Let's go back to what we fought for and against. Let's go back to the ways that were holding people back. And I think that's really strange to actually take away freedoms that, so we get rid of all black history. But that was like when it was during slavery times. You don't need to know where you came from. You don't need to know how to read this. You don't need to know how to write that. You don't need that.
Yeah, but they're talking about in school, right?
They're talking about libraries also. Libraries are funded by people, by the people. I mean, some people can't afford to go and buy books like that. So why would you take it away from the general public?
No, you can find books though, man. You can download the PDFs. Everybody on the damn phone anyway. Get a Kindle.
But you're saying that right now because they're already chipping away at it. That was something to me. Why would you even touch that? Why would that be an issue to go and dig into that? Why would it be an issue to go and dig into abortion rights?
Yeah.
I mean, it's already the Supreme Court has deemed it to be, what it was. Now we come back. Well, we don't need that. The state should decide. Well, last time I checked, when the states started deciding what they wanted to do over the federal government, that was a civil war. Certain things the state shouldn't have to, do. That's why we have a republic. That's why we have, the United States of America. But I don't know. I just think people are just sleeping on these things, and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me." Everything affects everyone. You just don't even realize. I had this discussion with someone yesterday, and a couple people, they were saying that they don't believe that there are any good people anymore, you know, and good people are being eroded away by the bad people, so that the good people don't stand up anymore. I'm like, no, that's not what I see. I see quite a few good people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know, then they went into saying, well, you know, drugs have taken over. Yeah, they probably have, but drugs have always been here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cocaine has always been out there. Opium, heroin has always been out there. Marijuana has always been out there. It may be more usage or more dealing of it, I don't know, than it was, but it could be the same percentage per capita, you know, that it was when we had 200 million people in the country. Or now we're at 330.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the same percentage. Just see more of it because there's more people. You know, I must admit, certain drugs became very prevalent in America every time we went into another country during the war. Mm-hmm. Heroin became very big in America right after Vietnam. You know, and they were right there over there where they can get, you know, easy accessibility to it and shipping it back. You know, it's our own people that's bringing it, were doing that at the time. And I think we did it again when we went into Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for 20 years. I think Vietnam lasted about 10 years. But the 20 years in Afghanistan and Iraq and what have you, I honestly believe those years brought, well, yeah, that's when heroin came back. Heroin was off the maps in the 80s, the 90s, and then all of a sudden,
brought that little heroin.
Around the new millennium, heroin was back in effect. And that's never been a good drug, you know?
Not at all.
It's very addictive and very dangerous.
Not at all.
And that's heroin that comes from opium, right? Yeah.
The poppy seeds.
Yeah, I think it is. So, you know, hey, we're living in a time that's no different than it was. It's just probably more of it. And how do we change it? Because it can be changed. It was obviously changed between the 70s and the 90s because heroin was not a big deal in the 80s and 90s.
I think part of it too is just getting the right legislators in place too. A lot of this stuff wouldn't have changed if we had gotten legislators that, you know, were considering, okay, the ramifications of people changing or making different decisions. And I think, like, for example, one of the things that's been talked about for some time that that people are really starting to wrap their heads around is, one, ranked choice voting, and two is term limits. You know, and so you just need people that's going to write legislation that want to bring forth the right type of change, and that could possibly happen. And I know Cam Buckner, for one, is one of the people who's sponsoring legislation to move towards a ranked choice voting type of procedure.
Which is?
So basically, if like in this year's election, you had 9 people on the ballot, so you'd have 9 numbers, and you get to decide where to put those numbers. So ranked choice, you know. So this is my number 9 person here in 876 so far, so on and so forth. And then you would pretty much the numbers just come in for the people, and then whoever has the highest number would be the person elected.
But wouldn't that kind of eliminate your preference? You still would have your preference, right?
Nah, it will be it more or less just gives people it gives close to who you would want to elect. You know, your preference would be the person that gets your 9. You know, and your hope is that other people decide the same way.
So 9 being the best person,
right?
Or team.
9. So it will go by how many people was in that position. So taking our race, for example, there were 7 of us. So instead of having one you could vote for 3 people. You could just put a number by what you decide who's what.
I think people wouldn't want it because people don't want to spend the time at the polls as it is. They say, "Oh, that's too much time. I gotta go through 15 people. I gotta go through 10 people. I gotta go." And don't let it be 15 people. Then you definitely don't have people complaining.
I mean, I don't know, man.
No, people are lazy when it comes to voting.
I don't know. It only take 5 minutes. I don't know, man. I mean, hey, man. At the end of the day,
look at what we've done. Last year we changed the voting time to summertime. Because everybody's been saying we're in Illinois. Why do we always vote in the winter? We get less turnout. People won't show up because it's cold. The weather's bad. Blah 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 blah.
Well, but that was only because of pandemic, though, right? That wasn't just something that they changed. That was just because
somebody told me they had a summer election in the 80s or something. I just don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But it could have been pandemic driven. Could have been.
I thought it was the pandemic that pushed some of the days back. So yeah, I think so. But I mean, I think is we need to sponsor legislation so that everybody can get half a day off from work and get paid for it to go vote. Voting should be like a national holiday.
Well, I think
and then if you take the day off, you got to come back with an "I voted" sticker, and then you get your money. And if you don't, then you don't get paid. You just took a half a day off.
You can't just come with the sticker. That sticker get rotated by a lot of people.
Oh man, we will. Somebody better. You got to come in. I'm collecting stickers. I'm collecting stickers. Like, I mean, you want to get paid? You better show something. Give me a receipt, a sticker. I'm just saying because we got to start improving on. We got to think about ways to improve on it. We have people that's always, I ain't know, I'm underinformed. Okay, you get a whole half a day off from work to go vote. You get a whole half a day to sit on your computer and figure out who you want to vote for and why.
Let's ask this question. Let's ask this question. Who are the people and where are they that are pleased with their elected officials?
I mean,
where are these people and who are these elected officials that they are?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. Looking at the numbers, a lot of the people that are running for, that are DSA, Democratic Socialists, that group, they are pretty popular amongst their people. I would say the only one, maybe the exception, is Carlos Ramirez Rosa, and that's not taking anything away from him, but he didn't have a challenger, so you couldn't really see. But if you look at the numbers for the rest of them, they clearly blew the people that was challenging them out the water. So the DSA folks, they got to really, they consider themselves very progressive. In their communities, I suppose, are likewise very progressive, and their vote totals showcase that people want them in. That's who's liked. And a lot of them are first time aldermen. So maybe they just ain't got tired of them. I don't know, but they resoundingly won their elections. Yep.
That's funny you say that. Yep. I don't even hear anybody ever say that they're
Democratic Socialists. Yeah. Oh yeah, they are. They definitely are.
They just don't flag it.
I mean, they have a Democratic Socialist caucus. They are. They definitely are. One of them got kicked out. Andre Vasquez got kicked out of the Democratic Socialists.
Hispanic people? Or
No. You got Daniel Espada. That's the first ward. Okay. You got Maria Haddon, 43rd, 45th, 40 something, because I'm gonna get her number wrong. I want to say 49 though, but Maria Haddon. You got Jeanette Taylor, 20th ward. You have Andre Vasquez. He's 40th ward. You have Carlos Ramirez, Rosa Ramirez, or vice versa. He's 35th ward. You have Matt Martin, I think his name is. And I could be wrong on that. His last name, I know his first name is Matt. He's another like 40 something ward, 47th, I think his ward is. Who else? Considered the progressive caucus that was supported by the Democratic Socialist Party. I feel like I'm missing. I feel like there's one more that I'm missing. But yeah, them six. That's good. That's six right there. They started their own little caucus up in the Democratic Socialist Caucus in the city council.
Interesting.
Yep.
And what do they stand for?
I don't know. I don't know. I just say, look, progressive values, whatever you consider progressive to be.
I got you. They just want to stick out. That's it.
Let me see. Let me pull it up right now.
Because I'm still trying to figure it all out. In a city like Chicago, there's so much division, but everybody Democrats. Then you start breaking down what kind of Democrat.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the rest, who we got on today, let's get into some topics, man. We blew Black History Month away and didn't get into a lot of Black history. But, who's that? Hello.
Okay. It's Daniel LaSpada, Jeanette Taylor, Byron Cicho Lopez, Rosana Rodriguez Sanchez, and Carlos Ramirez Rosa.
So it seems like mostly Hispanic groups.
One was from this three Hispanics, one white person, but then you also got those other ones. But I think, it was mostly Hispanic. Yeah.
Well,
Let's see.
But I was gonna say, let's dive into some of these other topics, man, because let's talk about let's talk about the policing issues right now. We got the new council. We don't know what the fate of the Chicago Neighborhood Policing Initiative will be. We're hoping that it sustains. We really don't know what CAPS means today. And we don't know who or where the new superintendent of police is going to come from. But we got a bunch of issues, regarding policing. One of them that I don't think was ever resolved was the idea that there was a Proud Boy faction inside of the police department that was never eradicated. And for those that don't know who the Proud Boys are, the Proud Boys are what? Fascist, racist group. I know for sure they don't take kindly to other groups,
Mm-hmm.
which means anybody other than who they are. And to have that group within the police department is a problem in itself. Why would you have a subculture of hate inside the police department? A knowing subculture of it. That can lead to more problems and all these lawsuits that we end up paying for as the city residents. Because every time you look around, somebody's been shot, somebody's been, in a situation where the city ends up paying for lawsuits. So what does it mean to have these sub-racist hate groups inside of the police department? And then let's take it a level further. Let's look at the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police. How are they really looking at all of this? I mean, just the other week, a week or so ago, they had DeSantis from Florida come down to meet with them. Why? Why did they have to have Governor of Florida come to meet the Fraternal Order of Police in Chicago? Don't we have our own problem? Doesn't he have his own? Or do they have something really in common?
I don't know, man. It's a difficult question though, because it's like, on one hand, you definitely don't want people from far right wing nationalist groups being involved with the police, but shit, like they said, man, the KKK took the hoods off and put on robes, badges, shields, and everything else. You know what I mean? Like it ain't never went nowhere. And then the question becomes, if that's the case, what if we have then black officers that are affiliated with uh, pro-black nationalist type of groups, which have always been looked at as terroristic as well. So it's one of those things where you like, man, you don't want to police what groups people belong to, but at the same time, you understand the necessity of not having those individuals represent you either.
I think you do want to police what groups people are associated with. Because when you're working for the public, you can't have people that's working with the biased attitude, especially a hate attitude.
Yeah, that's facts.
Others.
That's facts.
You definitely want to police that. You don't want to let that go. That's why they have psychological testing and all these other things before you join the police department. They're supposed to do background checks. They should be doing checks in the middle and in your career and all times to make sure you're good for the job.
But it's just like it's the same thing everywhere though. The military is the same way. I mean,
but where do people from the military go when they get out? Right to the police department.
Police department.
I'm the same attitude.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just like
that's not a good thing.
It's
everybody
like this.
Says you're giving good jobs to veterans, but you giving jobs to veterans that whoever checks to see if these veterans still don't have PTSD. We don't even know. These guys obviously been traumatized, but they don't. They go in and say, "Oh, I'm okay." Then they out here doing the same stuff they were doing in Iraq.
Right. Yeah.
They just see.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, policing is a heavy issue all across the country.
Yeah, it's a heavy issue. People don't want to do without it, but people don't want a lot of it. So, what's the happy medium?
Yeah. I mean, but then again, it's not even just policing though, It's everywhere. That's why I always say, man, just give me my racism to my face, man. I want my racism overt, man. Tell me you're racist, man. I'm cool with that.
No, it ain't that easy.
Yeah, it should be that easy though. It should be.
If it was that easy, I wouldn't be able to get the jump on you.
Nah. Well, the problem is the reason why it's easy. The only reason why it's easy is because black people ain't unified. Them people still know they can't run, jump, or do anything better than black folks. And they ain't finna get down and scrap with us.
Yeah, they probably could kill us better.
No. I highly doubt that. What they did was what they continue to do is take advantage of our kind nature. Black people still are very kind. I mean, to this day, we're still the most kindest people on this, except to each other. Now that's psychological. They did a number on us psychologically, but man, listen, all it is a lack of unity. It's disorganization. It's our people don't understand that we need to be together. Them folks, white people are terrified of black people. Terrified. Period. Still to this day. When they found them folks over there naked in Africa, and they was looking at them big, strong, strapping men, them 10-foot poles on them, they, God damn it, how are we gonna fucking compete with them? Black people and black people taught white folks how to become civilized. We taught them mathematics. We taught them how to cook. Come on, man. Like, we taught them everything. Them people, they looking in awe of us. They look at them black women like, God damn it, man. Why my damn women don't look like that? Shit. Oh, full body, intelligent, smart. Come on, man. Creative. God damn it. Damn it, Becky. What's up with you? Come on, man. Them folks know what's up, man.
What they say, accentuate the negative.
Man, them folks know what's up, man.
So they accentuate the negative, huh? Well, I mean, if you go back in history, and almost all points you made, that those were true.
Man, they know what's up, and what they've done is be able to understand that if you could divide these folks, you could keep their true identity from them. You take their culture. I mean, I was watching something on Netflix about tyrants. Tyrants come into power in the same ways that white people have come into power. You take a person's culture, you take their books away from them, so you remove their history. You give them a God to look up to. You make sure that you keep them beholden to you. As I mentioned, they've created a culture of dependency. You teach them that they are nothing, and you keep repeating that cycle again and again. And as generations are born, they are born with that same limitation. And every time they have an uprising, you make sure you squash it immediately, which they've done time and time again. I mean, the playbook. In fact, that was the show I was called. It's called the playbook on how to create a tyrant. It's right there. Everything that's in there. And I mean, they was looking at different tyrants throughout history. So they looking at Idi Amin. They looking at Stalin. They looking at Hitler. They looking at what's my man in China? Pol Pot. Pol Pot. They looking at that. They showing how the royal family in North Korea done remain. China. You know what I mean? They showing all of this.
No, China, that was just 30 years
Xi
ago.
Jinping. They showing all of that. They showing you how these people can.
They ground people to the ground with tanks.
Man, they showing you how you do it. They look. These people start uprising, kill them mercifully. Show no mercy.
You got too many of them to deal with. Huh?
Yeah, man, they know. Like they always, and then again, the knowledge is out there. Like I say, it's only air quotes 1% of the population that control all the money. It's 99% of people. That's why I'm always saying, again, if black people wanted to really make a difference, let's boycott again. Let's really show people the power of our economic dollar. Like, man, I probably wouldn't be able to get a solid 10 motherfuckers to be like, all right, for this week, hey, I need you for this week, buy everything you gonna need, because next week we ain't buying nothing. You're gonna be able to get 10 people to do that, man.
Right at the liquor store.
All I'm saying, man, look, you really want to, you want social power?
Unless you can provide them with some liquor yourself.
Man,
you got to substitute things.
We got some intelligent brothers in jail that know how to make some.
I don't think they're trying to do all that, but
look, man.
No, I agree. People they don't have the stamina. They don't have the willpower. They don't have the, sacrifice.
You got to sacrifice.
People had years ago.
Oh, that's a fact. We ain't got that. No, sir.
Spoiled.
Oh, no, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell somebody to sacrifice going to the store where they don't like you, and then I get it for you for the same price. No, they don't do that. Look, it happened right on this block. I had asked the guy to cut my lawn on the side of the building. Mm-hmm. And I could have done it, but I'm like, you know what? He's out here cutting grass. I'll pay him just to cut it rather than pulling off the lawnmower. The guy cut the grass, but he left a big strip down the middle. And I asked him how much do you want. And I told him whatever he had asked, I gave it to him. Then I said, hey, you forgot the spot. He's like, you expect me to do that for what you gave me? I'm like, I asked you what you want.
Right.
You told me what you wanted to do it for.
Facts.
And I gave you that. You didn't do that. I'm like, if you go to get a haircut, you're not gonna leave a big Mohican mohawk down the side of your head. That's not a haircut unless that's the style I asked for. So the guy goes, he got all argumentative with me, and I was like, man, you know what? It'd be the last time you ever get a dime out of me. For whatever it's worth. And then you know what I said? I'm gonna make sure you not get a dime on the block. Because your attitude. So I went to the one lady that I knew, and I said, you know what? Whatever that guy cutting your grass for, I'll cut it for half price. You know what she said? The lady says, well, I don't know about that, Steve. You know, he's been cutting my grass for years. So you rather pay the full amount than half the price to get the same service because you feel loyal to somebody that's disrespectful to you and your community.
I mean, yeah,
and I'm like, that ain't making no sense to me. And she says, well, you know, I don't like my garbage, my grass shave is put in the garbage can in the back. I said, don't worry about that. I can handle that too.
I mean, look, let's keep it a buck here. And we all guilty of it. I went to the dry cleaner one day. This is my first time was finna go in there. So I go in there. I had a long coat. It's an Asian woman. So I was on the phone with somebody. And so I walk in and she's asking me, what did I need? She's like, I'm not going to talk to you while you're on the phone. I was like, no, I'm actually talking to you, though. I know I came in here on the phone. I got my earpiece. But I'm talking to you. I was like, well, how much is this going to be? And she was like, $50. I had 2 coats. She was like, $50. I say, whoop, wait a minute. $50? Since when? I said, yeah, I'm going to go try this spot. She's like, good, get out of here, cheap ass, right?
Wow.
Now, that's but one example, but there are a ton of other examples where Asian people, Chinese people have disrespected the community. There was a situation with Tyrone Muhammad that the young lady got her nails done. She didn't like them. She told them, I'm not going to pay for these. You could redo them the way I want them, but now I don't know about women's nail. I don't know how you get all the way down to it being done and you don't like them. Not my concern, but I do know that if you're paying for a service and you don't like it, you figure out what to do, you know? And so she was like, I'm not finna date. No, you pay. You're gonna pay. See, no, I'm not paying. So she get up to leave. They whooped that woman ass. Black woman. They whooped her up in there, locked the door on her and whooped her up. Tyrone Muhammad came the next day. He was furious. He threw a brick through the window, bust the window or something. Matter of fact, no. Before he busted the window, came in. It's a whole bunch of black women there. Hey, y'all need to get up. He said, yesterday there was a black woman that came in here, didn't like her service. She didn't want to pay for her nails. These people locked the door on her, and they commenced to whoop her ass. Y'all all need to get up. So they ain't got nothing to do with me.
Wow.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. So okay. So he went out, he busted the window. He threw a rock through the window. And the black women mad because he done interrupt they getting they manicures and whatnot.
I gotta look good.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but again, and there's story after story after story of us and our community being treated poorly with customer service. And I mean, and we gotta, make sure we mention our own because we got terrible customer service. But at the end of the day, if it was us with bad customer service, we gonna cuss us out. We gonna swear up and down. We ain't gonna visit. It's gonna be some time before we go back. But them folks, the collective whole of them, whether they Muslims, whether they Chinese or Korean, and or other types of Asian, treat us all types of bad. We went out on New Year's Eve as a family, and we had a large party. It is what it is, but these people knew we were coming, and so it took us, and this is literally 2 hours from the point where we got there to eat. And so a bunch of us was mad. Now we were paying our bills, but they wasn't leaving no tips though. So I get up there to go pay my bill. I asked the lady for my bill after we didn't even eat our food. Me, my lady, and the baby, we didn't even eat all our food. We ate a little bit and we go ahead and package it up and bring me the check while you at it. Don't know why it took so long. The lady never brought the check. It's an hour later. She never brought the check. So I get up to go pay for our food. And as I'm standing in line, a white woman walks up. She was like, are you in line? I was like, no, go ahead. So the Asian woman on the phone, now it's I'm sympathetic because it's 3 of them working, trying to work this whole restaurant. They got party over here, party over here, party over here. They taking phone calls. They just doing way too much. So she on the phone taking an order to go while also trying to get our money as we coming up. And so the white lady walk up. I was like, no, you're fine. Go ahead. I ain't in no rush. I'm trying to be patient here because I never got my check. And as I'm standing there, the Asian woman goes, um, do you believe those people? We serve them and they don't even leave any tip. She was like, and it was so many of them. And then the white lady was like, oh, it's okay. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, dear. She get the rubbing on the white woman hand like, I'm sorry, dear. I'm not talking about you, but they have me so upset. I just don't like those people. So I was like, well, they're going, some people would be like, well, why you ain't cuss her ass out? You know what? I'm not finna waste my energy on that because, again, it's us. We know these people don't fuck with us like that, and we keep supporting them. We're the ones keeping these folks in business. They're in our community. They getting our money, taking it back to where they stay, and we keep doing it. That's on us. That's all I'm saying, man. Organization. Our people come together. Everybody will be blown out. Nobody can hold a candle to black people. Period. It is what it is.
What? Let me tell you something. All you need is 10 people. You don't even need 10 people. 8 people. You got 8 people and come down on the situation, guarantee you they're gonna get some bad publicity. They're gonna want to stop what they're doing. And you let them know that you watching them.
I mean, we did for that particular situation. We did the Yelp reviews. We did we bombed them. Yelp review bombed them with zeros and talked about it.
We ain't do the NAC review. We ain't even heard the name of this place. What is it?
Let me look it up. Green some shit. I don't know.
What was it?
I'm finna look it up now. Green. It was green something or other. Green Mile, some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, people feel that they can take.
But y'all used to do like Jamal Green did. He shut down like several of them out south. Once they wasn't doing right, they actually boycotted and they closed them down.
Right.
That's why I don't hear from you closed them shops down on the south side.
Yeah, that's what we need to start doing.
Them nail shops, you weren't playing with them.
Yeah. But it's just so odd how vanity has become the insanity to let other people treat us any kind of way. You sit there and you go, why are you still spending your money in there when these people treating you like this and they're literally telling you they don't want your money.
Yeah, you used to it. Used to it.
Stupid.
You used to be treated like shit and not doing anything as a result of it.
You go into these hair shops and things. A lady was telling me the other day about the hair shop on Madison in Oak Park, right off of Madison and Austin. She said she went in there and the Asian lady made a comment about, I can't wait till they get their what is it? Income tax. And she was like, huh? She out here waiting to get the pimping,
Oh man, shit.
She said it. The lady's like, whoa, I'm gonna have to put a slowdown on coming in here.
I mean, but she ain't wrong though, because it's consumerism at its finest. What's gonna happen is when taxes come, inevitably, we are going to go buy $600 weaves. We're gonna go get us some mics. We're gonna get us some bags. A few of us might go get our BBL fixed. You know what I mean? For the fellas, we finna go get the DDL. You feel me? Yeah. I don't know if that's you feel me? But I'm just saying, like, we are consumers. We spend money. That's what we like to do. But we have so many abandoned properties. It's like, again, I always say it, man, if 5 relatives that's getting $2,000, and then you get more because you got kids, man. Or if you took $2,000 and 5 of y'all, you can go get one of these 8-unit properties that's sitting vacant on the west side.
What you can. I just spoke of that. I was over at South Austin Community Coalition Council SAC last Tuesday, and they asked me to speak. And I told them, I said, we are the last 2 organizations that came under the umbrella back in 1972. And I said, we have to go out and get our younger people back. Let's get them back in our communities. Let's regentrify. Regentrify.
Yeah.
The people that were here, bring them back to where they were at. And they were like, some of the older people like, well, they're in the suburbs. I'm like, and what are they doing with that? Because what happens is their kids come right back to the city to hang out and do what they do.
Right.
And I'm like, we're missing out. There are a lot of properties that people are just not taking advantage of.
Yeah.
And I said, we need to bring us back to where we are. You know?
Yeah, but not only that though, just being an owner for our community isn't enough. We got to be involved in the community.
Yeah.
You know, just because you like, we could have people that are property owners and they can still be bad uh, owners as well. You know,
Yeah.
and not contribute anything towards the community. And so we need people to be involved. You know,
Right.
our community I mean, and that's not even our community, just all. I mean, all communities, you know, that aren't even black. Like they all survive because they have a community oriented attitude, whether it's cooperative economics that are involved, or it's some sort of their welfare is one another.
Right.
The way that they survive is with one another. That's what we've gotten away from. We survive individually. We need to survive together. You do that, you will have a lot more to work with.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you go back. I see Barry just jumped on, right? That's how you go back to a time where if I was planting beans and you were planting potatoes, I give you some, you give me some.
Right.
If I know how to sew and you know how to knit, I create something. I help you tailor. Yeah, for you feel me? That's how you survive together. We now struggle alone and survive individually, which makes no sense. But I mean, you know, deep rooted in us is a mistrust and a distrust that others have created. But I mean, we do a good job of it ourselves because we don't appear to be who we say we are. You know, and in some respects, people don't recognize that people are who they are, and you know that could be a problem too. You know,
Well,
and
recognition is one thing. Communication is everything.
yeah,
I mean, you could see somebody from afar and not understand what's going on in their head, and they don't know what's going on in yours because there's no communication. And, you know, we could sit there and talk about communities. All I know is I've been living a social experiment for the last 58 years of my life. I've experimented with what it's like to live in the South. I've experimented with what it's like to live in a big metropolis, in the small metropolis versus the South and the North. I've experienced living in underserved communities in the cities, South and North. I've experienced what it's like to live in somewhat served communities. I'm not going to say, you know, abundantly served, but I can tell you what we all have in common is people are living amongst each other, and if they don't communicate and even look to say hello to their neighbor, that's a problem.
right.
I mean, you don't want to be bothered that much, but you living in the city, you need to find a farm somewhere, you know, at the end of the earth, because there's people everywhere around us.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And
In the city,
everybody has pretty much the same problems at one point or another, or they have the same common good at one point or another. But not to explore it and understand it and become related with it, that's what the issues are always, you know. The issues are always with what you don't know. Like on my block, I asked a few neighbors about, you know, voting, and they were like, "Well, oh, I'm not registered." I'm like, "You're not registered?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, you got little kids, a wife, you're not registered. You guys are not registered, really? You live where in Lincoln Park before you moved here, and you're not registered? What, you live in Wicker Park? What, you're not registered? You have a business, obvious business that right here in the community, and you're not registered to vote?" I'm like, what is going on with that picture? You know, people are just disenfranchised with the system, I guess, or they don't think it affects them until it affects them. You know, but it's a lot of that, and we can't just say, "Oh, young black kids or young people, black people." It's not just that. It's everybody. It's a lot of people just totally not tied to the system like that. But they want the benefits of it.
Mm-hmm.
The same person that was saying they weren't registered said to me, "Hey, Steve, we got this jacked up concrete up here in front of my house, my walkway. Think the city will pay for that?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let me make a call." Made a call. The guy was like, "Nah, yeah, they'll pay for it. It's a danger hazard. They'll pay for it." Now, you're asking about that, but you're not willing to find somebody that can help you get that done, that works through this for the city. It's like I could have easily said, "Hey, I don't know anybody. You need to spend a couple $1,000s and get that fixed if that's what you want."
Mm-hmm.
And you probably would have either paid for it or left it the way it was. Actually, he would have left it the way it was because he eventually said it's also affecting where the car is parked. And if the sinkhole drops my car in there, hey, maybe I'll get another car or something. Like, that's not how you look at that. What if someone else's car parks there and it sucks the car in? They don't want another car. They just want what they have. They just want things to be taken care of because maybe they are voting. I don't know. It's a weird time that we're living in.
Mm.
It's a really strange time. And like you said, people, how do you put it? A life of dependency. People are living a world of dependency. I'm like, wow. I guess you're right. Everybody's dependent on something, but to what degree?
Mm-hmm.
To what degree?
Mm.
What you say there, Barry? Barry Corn.
Hey guys, I'm just trying to get on. Just a minute. Oh,
We hear you.
hey, there you go. You're singing my tune. What can I say?
No, it's not the tune that I like to hear from the other side. I'm not involved, but I want everything that revolves around me to happen for me. And I get it. There's a lot of busy people in the world, but sometimes you have to devote 3-4 hours out of your lifetime, to being involved. Get involved.
Steve, what I found, because I started this recent work I'm doing in Oak Park, and it seems to me that people on the west side are just a lot more connected with the need to come together than the white people in Oak Park. And that's not just Oak Park. So I think there's a huge amount of opportunity. And I think we just need to take some actions where we support each other, one-on-one, or 2 or 3 people. Just do something, whatever your concern is, whatever you're interested in. Connect with other people and get it done.
Right. Sounds easy, but some.
I know it does sound easy.
Sounds really easy.
But I think it's happening. Look at all the people on this call. They're all here supporting each other.
know,
That's why I'm here.
I'm glad you said that, because I do think one of the reasons why I've been so involved with Northwest Austin Council for so long, for 3 decades plus, is that when I first got involved with them, I bought my first property through the organization. And when I bought the property, I had a lot of questions because I had never owned a property, and nor did my parents. So I didn't know anything about, garbage cans and neighbors and what to do with this and that and repairs. So I would always ask the organization. Then I started to find out, I'm like, man, now that I have a property, I'm part of this neighborhood, this village, this community. And I'm gonna always need help. So why not help the community and help the neighborhood? Because I'm gonna need some help. And I always did. It was always things. I remember back in '97, there was a big flood. Everybody got flooded out. The drainage system, everybody get backed up. And my basement was flooded out. Everybody in my neighborhood, all over the west side. And I called. No, my insurance company decided to drop me because I made a claim. So I told Ms. Spann, which was the president of Northwest Austin Council at the time. We had a big meeting because FEMA had to come in certain areas and help also. And I told Ms. Spann, I said, Ms. Spann, I've been having this pretty good insurance for over 7, 8 years. Never made a claim. And they dropped me. She said, well, you know what? Call this agency. It's down in Springfield. And talk to this guy. And true, sure enough, when I made the call, they got me back on, back with my insurance company that same day. So I always attribute being with an organization like this with the support of surviving and having things that you need by living in a village, a neighborhood, even if it's just information to get you, reinstated with your insurance company.
But a critical part, Steve, is when you asked Ms. Spann what to do or told her about the situation, she made a suggestion and then you followed up. A lot of people don't. They hear good things to do and I think more people who do it the way you did it and listen and learn from each other and then take action.
Everybody,
makes a huge difference.
Everybody needs some direction, I believe.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in need, when you need help. Sometimes some people just want you to do it for them, but there are many people just like tell me what to do so I can get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think part of it.
Y'all was doing a good job because through y'all, I met Raheem, right? And the scholarship program I was telling you about, she needed a speaker, and I suggested Raheem to do the young black man, welcome to fatherhood.
Right.
And she has a young guy that actually she gave me one of the scholarships to is want to be a doctor. So I reached out to Raheem through the connection through Peachbrook and you, and he's actually going to be the speaker at the banquet for the scholarship. So it works hand in hand. So
that's nice.
I'm using the sources that I got, and he will be speaking on a scholarship at the scholarship banquet.
That's dope.
That's what it's about, connections. I mean, we met Raheem, man. Raheem was out there when we were out there. Every time we looked up, didn't we? We see him at different events. And that was, 4 years ago? At least 4 years ago. And I tied Raheem into some people that's right in the line of what he's doing. He actually teaches a class of environmental justice out at, what's the name of the company?
Grand Canyon, I think. Is that it?
Not Grand Canyon.
GCU, Grand Canyon University, I think it's called. Great Valley.
What's it called? University Park or something like that.
Right, GCU, I think.
Anyway, but the college where he works, the class, and then I told him a lady that I'm coalesced with that's out in what's the name of that? Argyle Gardens. She's a environmental justice advocate. And I told him about her, and he said, "Man, I heard of her. You know her?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know her. Let me hook you up with her, so she can come and be involved with with your students, and maybe your students can work with her." So, the network builds. It builds. It's always good to refer good people, and build that network. Always. And so, you know what? Somebody asked me. Go ahead, Beard.
Steve, you're like a hub in our network.
Yeah, I guess so.
A hub in the sense that you're involved in a whole lot of organizations, and and DeAndre's got his, and he's becoming a hub, and so we're all connected to other people, even if you're quiet.
Right.
We still have connections. We just have to recognize that we're building this weave of relationships.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
Now we just got to get connected to the rich people.
They'll come in.
So they can start breaking some bread off, so we can make some things happen. Shit.
Well, bread is just one way of transactions.
Yeah.
No, we need that sack, man. We need that sack. That sack.
Real.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with having that backup when you need it.
Need that
When
Baggington.
you got somebody that's just say, "Man, you know what? I need $100 grand right now. I give it right back to you. Charge me with your interest or whatever you want to do, and let's work it out."
Hey, Barry, how long you had money, man? If you don't mind me asking.
Well,
How you had money?
I think I began when I was 11, delivering groceries for my parents.
How old are you now? How old are you now?
I'm 82.
Listen, I'm 36. I ain't never had that type of money you had then. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had it for a long time. So,
Say Barry sitting on old money for real.
My first money was a quarter. And that was, and they offered, I said, no, that's all right. I'm just helping you out.
And see, I ain't never known what it felt like to turn down somebody giving me some money. Try it. No, I'm not gonna try that. Because I know, somebody offers me some money, I'm gonna take it. And the only reason I'm pointing out.
You think I had money when I was 11?
No, I think your family had money though. So I think you do
My
something.
my parents had a mom and pop grocery store.
See that?
And wait a minute, let me. What? No, you don't know.
That's money. Some people never own those stores. They never own no business. So that's why when it comes to, I know you don't like to talk about, transactional things with currency. But that's because you can't understand it if you coming from a place where your mom and pop own the business. They might not have been rich, and you might want to explain that, and I can get that, but I understand that when you have a business, there's still a certain level of economics that you understand and that you're brought into the world understanding that my business just doesn't.
Deontay, you're making a whole lot of assumptions.
You're right. I apologize. I'm sorry.
So let me tell you, my parents didn't complain much. I don't complain much, and the one thing that my father complained about, and really, was sad about, was that he felt that the grocery store was the slavery. And he really regretted the day, the years that he and my mother spent in the store. And what happened was urban renewal came in, and they knocked down the store and the tenement above the store where we lived. We lived on the third floor. And one of my father's customers drove a bus and told my father about it. And my father was delighted to get that job. And he loved that job. He would come home and he would say, "Hey, I had a slow day," with a big smile on his face, because he still got his paycheck. That wasn't true of the grocery store. And when things were really, when almost everything he sold, he made a penny or 2 pennies on.
So,
And sometimes he had to open the store on Sundays, and then the cops would come by looking for some money in order not to close it, because I think they were called blue laws. You couldn't keep the shop open on Sunday.
mm-hmm. So
thanks for listening, Dion.
So he experienced the American dream in multiple ways, huh?
American dream, right? It was like a nightmare.
American nightmare and a dream, huh? Well, you know, I get what you're saying, but I think if he had some other means, he could have probably parlayed owning that business and driving the bus. But
parlay that business you were saying?
Yeah, into like hiring somebody to do it while he drove the bus and made the money there, so he had some supplemental income.
They knocked that store down.
Yeah, I remember on 113th in Amsterdam.
Father, that wasn't the kind of thing my father would do. I know DeAndre would think about doing stuff like that, but that wasn't in his personality.
What? Wait, do what? knock the store down?
No, look for the kind of thing Steve just said. Hey, get somebody to tend the store while he drove the bus. That just wasn't, you have to know my father.
Oh, okay. He was uncomfortable leaving his baby.
No, I think, okay, so one thing about that is, of course, I think me or my brother would be eager to put somebody to work. You know what I mean? Like in our communities, you're not given a lot of opportunities to work in places that you probably don't mind working in. So a lot of times we choose a job given the demographics, and sometimes it's just a bad job. Like I was telling my brother stuff. I was like, it's crazy, but I went my whole life thinking I was supposed to stay at one job, and it's like I got attached to the people at the job, and I never realized that my income was staying the same. And I know I always talk about money, and that's because that's the only thing that really has value to me that makes my situation and those around me better. For the first time in my life, I was able to send my mama just $50, just pay my mama some lunch. That made me feel good. Imagine what I could do if I had hundreds of thousands of dollars. Your mama take a trip around the world. You know what I mean? That's how I look at what finances and things could do for, our communities. Even if you got the right mentality about what to do with it. That's why I'm always eager to educate my people about how money really works, because it feels good when you can give. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that the Bible always preaches. They want us to do is to be prosperous so we could give. Our community is sorely lacking because we don't know how to give. When I was struggling, I would have never thought about sending my mama money. I love you, mama, but I can't do it. But now I'm in a position where I can help myself, and as I help myself, I can help my family. Period. That's so yes, I would definitely employ somebody. Not only would I be giving them a job, but I'm taking something away from myself to free myself up to make more income so I can take my family places. So yeah, of course. But that's how it should be. We're not talking about using economics for bad. But that's how economics is. It's just a relationship between the buyer and the seller and how you treat them in the middle. Right. That's what economics is. A buyer, a seller, and how you treat each other. And time is money level. So I don't think, and I don't think you should be just focused on the dollar, because the dollars, it's a tough game, because the big guys, Mary, listen, I 100% agree with you. But anybody that understands economics never, ever, ever, ever focus on the dollar, because it's going to come. I swear to God. I mean, depending on how you decide to frame your mentality around which one, I think your Peacebrook idea is a very good idea. Because hallelujah, hey, we're celebrating. It's really just having people come together and network without the money. But the thing about no. But that's where we can get to. No. In peace. Right. Transaction based on people helping. That's what I was going to say. People. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off. Yeah, so I'm just saying, I understand what the intention behind it. It is just using, that time to get together, not necessarily your money, but what I'm saying is when you get around people who are successful and all you're doing is sharing your time, they're going to give you something that's more valuable than money. They'll give you ideas. They'll give you motivation. They'll give you drive if that's what you're looking for. So that's what I'm saying. The stuff that you talk about, nothing is wrong with Peacebrook. I think it's a great idea. Getting people together and just using social capital, you know what I'm saying, to build each other up. I 100% agree with it. Again, but that's just not my reality. My reality is I need that sack. You hear me, Barry? I need that sack. Yeah. You need the dollars. I got that, and you're absolutely right. You got to have a minimum amount of dollars in order to survive in society. And for me, once you get 100,000, I need 100,000 for me personally. I need 100,000, Barry. Oh, come on! Have you ever seen? Man, you're not a survivor. I'm a survivor. My father was a survivor. My mama was a survivor. Maybe she survived a lot. She survived gangs. She survived drugs. She survived abandonment. My mama survived. We all are survivors. We literally come into this world, and one of the first things we taught is how to survive. Period. Right? That's the first thing we taught is how to survive. That's why we take this mentality throughout. That's why it's hard for you to get Peacebrook together. Because ain't nobody thinking about just sitting down and having a conversation, even though this is how corporations are formed. They are formed over golf clubs. They are formed over bathroom, what's those things, those sauna things. Business is conducted just by having a simple conversation. But we don't understand that because we feel like it's a waste of time because there's nothing, financially that's attached to it. But that's just being honest, because we never had it. I need 100, Barry.
A honey. I need a honey bun. You need a honey bun, Barry.
All right, so a honey bun.
A honey bun.
Well, this is the thing. If you had that 100, how can you parlay that into 200 with some dividends?
Right now, the first thing I would do, I'm glad you asked me, thank you, sir. First thing I would do, I would go buy a used vehicle. Why? Because used vehicles on the market is way cheaper than they used to be. If you get a used vehicle, let's say around $8,000, you then use the Turo app, which is an app that you can put that vehicle on the street and let somebody rent it out. You would then start generating a little bit of income coming in. I would also invest in an portfolio, a stock portfolio. Again, the Feds are raising the fund rate. Some people like to think about bonds. I just went on the Treasury Direct website, and I was looking at the price of Q bonds he was, if you will. I mean, these things, there's instruments, there's tools that people, our counterparts, have been using for years to understand how money works. I'm just saying, we got this, we got the access to the same tools. Period.
That's a
We
fact.
don't use it. So trust me, if I had that money right now, we're gonna build something big.
I was gonna also say too. We don't.
We going just.
I was gonna also say, yeah, man. One of the things that Black people don't really like. We are a holy people. Oh yeah, we love that Bible. But I promise you, in terms of spiritually, like we don't connect with the world the way we supposed to, man. We don't understand the laws of nature, like reciprocity and again, abundance and just giving because you know, even when you don't have it, because it's gonna come right back. Again, that sacrifice doesn't show up the way that it needs to. You know, the survival always does. You know what I mean? And I think personally, I don't think that tithing was always meant to be in the church.
Right.
You give to people as you can, you know? So if anybody needs it, you should be available to them. And then you get blessed right back.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you act on behalf of another, you get right back as well. Like we don't understand like how to create good karma for ourselves in some respect. You know, now
DeAndre's, I witnessed him ever since I know him. He would always help people. And I'd be like, why are you helping this person, man? Well, you know, I can, and I do what I want to, you know, and they appreciate it. I'm like, yeah, that's true. They do appreciate it. But I always thought it would be something deeper, like he had a relationship, but he knew them very well. I remember, what's the lady, man, that had the little daughter, the granddaughter?
Oh,
used to always buy her food and everything. She started calling you the restaurant. You bought her food so much for her.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't even know her. He's like, well, she just need help. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. She appreciates it.
Listen,
she definitely mentioned it to me.
Well, I know for me, you know what I mean, I know where I came from. And as we was talking earlier about great man, good man, I just want to be a good man.
Right.
My plan for my life is to be a great man, but while I'm here, I'm going to be good. Yeah. You know, and sometimes like shit, I thought I mean I could have lost my election being good, you know, but you know it is what it is. That's just who I am. That's what I want to be because I know where I came from. I know what I did. I know what I put out in the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
if everybody could look
DeAndre, I'm really happy to hear you say that because I feel the same way about myself. And I was just wondering whether that was true for other people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You said you're wondering if that's true for other people.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is for many other people, but you know it's not everyone, but there are.
Right. How about the people on the call?
Guys and girls, are y'all good people or not?
That's how we started the show off.
You aspire to be a good person.
Look, we started the show.
I ain't gonna say I'm good. I'm gonna say I'm caring, and I care for others. I'm not gonna say because good, it depends what you mean by good, right? If I'm a caring, loving, giving person and like to help others, I would definitely say that.
I received that.
What I have.
That's a good characteristic.
Yeah,
that goes under good.
That's facts. Fouled under good.
Yeah, I mean, we started the show off because I talked to some guys I went to high school with 40 years ago, and they were saying, Steve, there are no good people out here. People, they're more bad than good, and the bad people are making the good people sit down and they won't stand up. And I'm like, that's not true. And then when I found out they spend a lot of their time in the house and they watch TV and they're watching the news, I'm like, that's the problem. You're feeding off of what the news is putting. And a little what you see and hear, but it's not true. I tried to tell them it's not true.
Because I think there's a tremendous contrast between the idea of being a good person and the news and the movies and all the media.
Right. No, there is a big contrast.
we keep, it's like this sewer pipe running into our heads and into our homes with all this garbage, telling us stuff that's no good for us.
Right. Yeah. And the news it's about making money. That's what it's about. It is what it is.
I think it's more than money. I think it's about power and disempowering us.
Yeah, well, money can be power too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing. But we can't give up one thing, and that's hope. You wake up every day, you gotta have some hope.
Down with dope, up with hope.
You gotta have some hope. And you know what? You gotta look around and say, man, I'm in the company of people that are hopeful. And when you see that and feel that, that gives you the inspiration to move and make things happen. It's a smart.
It's a rich life.
Oh yeah.
To be in the company of people who are hopeful of doing good.
There you go.
That that makes me think about. So when I ran the first time, somebody had approached me, and they told me, like, listen, I know you want to do well for other people, but my mom died broke fighting for the community. I don't want to see you end up the same way. So it's all well and good to be hopeful and to do good and be good to good people. But we gotta get some money too, man. I'm on what Guala on, man. I need a honey bun too. I need a honey bun. Barry, we need honey buns too, bro.
I don't think.
Well, I've worked hard all my life. I lost a lot of jobs, and it wasn't easy.
I'm with you, Barry. It ain't never supposed. Well, look, nothing's easy that you have to work for.
Right.
And if you work, and if it is, you ain't gonna even want it, and you ain't gonna know how to act when you get it. So you're supposed to work. I believe wholeheartedly. So I don't really talk about money because I just believe in putting in the work. I already know what's gonna come from doing good work. You know what I mean? That's all I care about. Just showing up and doing good work, and whatever is supposed to be for me will be. And that's the way I move. But I also recognize the necessity of trying to acquire some things before you leave, though. Because you got family and things like that.
Absolutely.
And so you want to make sure that you do your due diligence as the steward to make sure that things are right and proper, so that in any time you exiting and you leaving the people that you most cared about with everything they need to continue moving forward without you. Don't want to leave a bill. We want to leave a bag. You feel me? That's how I feel about it.
You want to leave them with some good hope.
Facts.
There you go.
Facts.
But no, I think one of the things that your brother, I don't know if he really realizes, that the more you become familiar and in the company of good people that's about something, the better off you will be. Because I just think about in my lifetime, all the people that I've run across and that have helped me. And I was just there to do what I needed to do, and be present. And then people referred and gave me information and helped me and what have you. It builds. It builds. You can't lose from good relationships, man, with good people. You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to stand in front of those people's mind. That's all, to it. You stand in front of their mind, they're going to remember, oh, man, you know what? Let me get with Steve. Steve might know somebody. Steve might be able to help me. I might be able to help him, through somebody. And that's how you do it. Who was that?
Oh, damn, it looked like Mosaic done jumped on. He jumped on right when we about to get ready to shut everything down. I know he was finna come get live. It's time to get live. It's time to get Sunset Park. What time is? Come on, I know Angelica now.
But yeah, we gotta keep it. We gotta keep it motivated, man. We gotta keep it rolling. And one of the things I want to bring up before I forget is that Deontay Wilson, the film producer,
yeah.
he's about to do a premiere of his biography called West Side Stories. They're gonna have it at the Cairn Center on Washington and Parkside on March the 30th. I gotta get the time and place.
Nice.
We're gonna have him on so he can talk about that, so we can get people out to see it.
Nice.
Yeah, he's West Side born and raised, and he put in some work, and he said he's gonna be doing some stuff with Ted Kennedy's son. I don't know what the Kennedy's name is, the son's name is, but he's gonna be doing some work with him, and it's gonna be on public broadcasting on the network system on PBS.
No, that's super dope.
He's doing some things. You got to see his whole West Side Stories biography, because there's a lot of stories in it that's
West Side Stories
you never knew about. And you're gonna see some familiar faces and familiar places, obviously from the West Side. But yeah, I think we'll have him on next Sunday. We'll have him on, and then don't forget, y'all that are living in the city, and even if you're not in the city, pass the word about the mayoral race. We got 2 candidates out there now.
Yeah,
we want to represent for the West Side. And also, don't forget the 29th Ward. C.B. Johnson and Chris Taliaferro is in the runoff. So for those that didn't know, now you definitely know.
Yeah, official.
That's right.
Made official today. What's up, Barry? Yep, officially.
Wow.
Yep, officially. There is a runoff in the 29th Ward. Yep.
Did you get to your position?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I won. It's just
Okay.
I haven't been vocal about, celebrating and all of that, because our race isn't called due to the fact that the third, the numbers have been increasingly getting closer, and it's gotten so close that they're now tied, the third and fourth place person, and then the fifth place person is about 21 votes behind them. I think, unfortunately, you can go ahead and count him out, Otis. And so right now, Darius, who was in third place, and Carmelita, who was in fourth place, they are tied. They are in a dead heat. And obviously we have tomorrow and Tuesday to see, and so
finalize it all.
Yeah, man. So that race, that's going to be interesting, because being that this is a new position, I would be curious as to if they have to flip a coin to see who wins, because that's the process that's used. Let's say, hypothetically, this runoff of the 29th Ward goes, it becomes a dead heat, then they would have to flip a coin. So I'm curious about that. I mean, after somebody might call for a recount, but you you're gonna have to flip a coin. That's the way. That's the rules. That's the way the rules are written. Yeah, somebody better win. Yeah, facts. Right. Somebody better win. Otherwise, you're gonna leave it to chance. So
do it till we do it right.
Yeah, man.
That's for sure.
But yeah, all right, y'all. We're going ahead and start wrapping up and everything. As we do, we like to take it to the Zoom and get y'all final thoughts on everything. And so I'm gonna start with you, Barry.
Barry Corn.
Well, I'm sorry I've hopped on late, but from where I was delighted to hear what you guys were saying about bringing people together. That's what we need to do, and to take action to help each other.
Peace, bro. Piece by piece.
So, yeah, it's just ordinary, simple stuff.
You know, this is oh man. You know, it's funny because for whatever reason, it just dawned on me that your name is berry corn, so that's fruit vegetable, and I was like, man, you a healthy guy, you know what I'm saying? That's like all you eat, so it's like, yeah, nah. I'm gonna start calling you fruit vegetable, and then you know I'm calling you berry corn, berry corn. Hell nah.
Fruits and veggies.
Yeah, facts. Mr. Fruits and Veggies, berry corn. Yeah, that was funny to me. Thanks, Barry. Mosaic. No, he just got on.
I just want to say, give a little awareness to people, about our borders. There's a lot of Ukrainians coming over. There's a lot of, people from Mexico coming over. And I'm just needing everybody to, stand on 10 and be vocal to the people that you guys want to be mayors and, other politicians, because we can't keep having these foreigners and refugees coming to our community and take our resources. So yeah, y'all be able to, please be vocal to the people that you consider to be mayor esque and winners. Voice that we don't want these people coming to our city. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Although we a sanctuary city, so that'll never happen. The late great Harold Washington designated us a sanctuary city, so we taking in everybody.
Well, hopefully Paul Vallis changed that up.
Well, we know we got one vote for Paul Vallis on the line. Barbara.
I just remember that whoever wasn't on here today, if you know anyone that's looking for a scholarship for finna graduate out of high school, I put it on comments. I know an organization that's giving out scholarships to the low income families, and they just have to go on the website and put in an application, and they'll let them know if they're, the qualifications and everything else. And also, Barry, it's a meeting this Friday on Pittsburgh. This is your third Friday, so be on the meeting for that. So.
Oh, thank you, Barbara.
No problem.
Thank you, Barbara.
Look at that. That's right here. What your brother was talking about.
Yes, sir. Miss Jacobs. Marisol Cruz. Marisol. Miss Jacobs. Miss Jacobs, I see you on the phone moving. You sleep.
Next person.
We woke you up, Miss Jacobs.
I gotta get on another call real soon.
I don't know I don't know if Angelica's there. Angelica?
Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
What you on, Jay?
So I was just listening. I called Mosaic, and I was thinking about what he said about like we gotta watch our kids and our daughters. But yeah, to his point, I would say to end it, make sure we praying over everybody, but especially praying over our youth and our children as we go into the the spring and the summer, and just overall covering them. And that's it. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Miss I'll see you, Miss Jacobs.
Yes, Deandre, do you hear me?
Yes, yep.
Okay. Yes, it's all about working together, coming together, and getting things, making things happen in our community.
Right.
And we're just so divided, and we just need to get together and just make things happen. Turn 2023 around.
Yeah, it's still early enough for sure.
We can work together and we can do things together to make things happen.
Right. It's definitely early enough. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Thank you, Miss Jacobs. Ella, Miss Houston, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Um,
I'm here.
you wanted to say anything?
Well, what I could hear, I enjoyed it. And I wanted to just touch bases. At the beginning, you were talking about how we allow people to come in our neighborhood and mistreat us.
Oh yeah.
And when we don't front them, we don't stick together.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that to be very true.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of upsets me when I see a child go into one of these stores and they disrespect that child. Because I saw that at Sunset a while back, and I had to go off. But and that was black people all over the place buying that old high liquor. So, we just have to stick together as a people. And the word has to get out about this maltreatment of our kids and of us when we go into these establishments that's in our community.
Right.
So, but I did enjoy what I could here because I'm having problems with my tablet and everything. So,
I got you.
but thank you all for having us.
All right. Yep. Thank you, Miss Houston. Appreciate you for tapping in. Guala, you still there? Guala? Are you still there, Guala? Steve?
I just want to say, don't forget to vote, y'all. April 4th coming up. We got to do the right thing. Look out for the 29th Ward. We got C.D. Johnson, and we got Chris Taliaferro still running in the runoff. Don't forget Brandon Johnson. Johnson and Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I thank everybody for coming on.
I see you came off mute, Guala.
Yeah.
Guala.
Yeah, my thoughts.
What up, G? What up, G? What up, G?
Listen, all I want to say is, when I started joining these conversations and everything, I was big, and I'm gonna still continue to be big on preaching the need for us to start understanding finances. I've issued challenges to people to come up with a different way of looking at your finances, so you can teach the younger people. Again, we always talk about the community, but I think DeAndre said in the beginning, if you do not start with yourself, it won't ever start.
Right.
In my family, no one knows anything about finances. No one knows anything about building businesses. And I don't know nothing about it myself. But you know what? I'm in the process of teaching myself. We'll continue to teach myself. And from the term, when I first started talking about starting a business and the things I was going to do, I've accumulated at least $13,000 of my own personal funds. And I'm going to take these funds. I'm just waiting to get some more. I'm not eager to. I already started my business, but I'm saving so I can get something good. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to start to generate income with that money. The problem with us is not that we don't know much about finance, but that's one. But also we buy a lot of privileged things. Now, if you come in my home, I do got like $5,000 to $6,000 in sneakers, but that's like a habit, right? It's like when you're doing a good thing, you gotta have a bad vice. Now I could be out here women or chasing drugs, but I just like to wear sneakers. So forgive me for that. But that doesn't stop me from learning and doing something new. I'm gonna continue. Every time I get on there, we're gonna talk about finances. I'm gonna challenge anybody. Do something new so you can set the example for your family. Like we keep talking about how the wage gap is widening and how we are falling behind. That's because you yourself, the listener, has yet to put the onus on yourself and figure out how can I get money in the year 2023 that do not involve me getting up off my couch. And if you ask Google, you will get an answer. There's so many ways.
That's why
side hustles.
6 to 9 months to learn something new.
That's why in April we're supposed to be sitting down looking at doing something. So keep it in mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm with it. Whenever you guys want to do it, I know you guys are waiting on. I think it's Jerome or something. He was going to show something. So
Bill, the Bill guy.
Jerome.
Again, I'm big on that. I do got the information you gave me the last time. And again, this is another thing, right? I was talking on the show. Steve, he put me in contact with one of his guys who own a lot. So not only will it benefit Steve can now send me a representative of him to somebody else. If I can create a relationship good enough with this man, maybe then we can start something where we're constantly not only taking these cars, but showing everybody else how to take these cars and build an income for themselves and for their family. I mean, and
Right.
It didn't cost us money. It was just me and Steve having a conversation. So to Barry's point, Barry, your father sounds like a great man. My father came, he bought me a sneaker, and he left. So you was able to see the definition of the man that still get up. He didn't rest on his laurels after he lost his job or his business. He went out and he said, "I'm gonna still go out there and I'm gonna figure out how to get it done for my family." So that's why you're such a stand-up, honorable guy, Barry. It's a pleasure knowing you. And I'm just saying, we need to get to this habit. Yeah, hey, my goodness. I'm gonna sleep tonight.
What he say?
He said how he's gonna sleep tonight.
Oh.
What you on? Fruits and veggies. Fruits and veggies.
He don't sleep well at night. Hey, but no, hey, Tay, that guy though, he been doing this a while too. I actually ran into him at a funeral a weekend ago. But definitely a good connect.
Yes, sir.
I know we're going to connect with them. And again, if anybody listening is literally not me saying anything to be braggadocious or boastful or anything. I'm saying if somebody who literally, last year I had no money, but I had this fact that I needed to do something different for myself and my family, and I decided I had to take a chance. That's all I'm saying. Like, anybody have a chance, but I also got to know that you don't know and you're willing to go get educated or something. Just period.
Facts on the guys. Thanks, Wallace. So y'all know we do this thing. Oh wait. So for me, speaking of finances, leaving off where Guala left off at, I'm starting a new program actually with Miss Bertha, and we have two things going on. One is financial education. So I myself created a course some time ago, which is very, very basic and beginner instruction into investing. Just showing people how to hold their emotions while investing, how to look at in different investment vehicles, selecting which ones is the right one for you, things like that, so you can get away from not having a place to put your money. Because if y'all been following it, we just lost another major bank. So you got to consider where you're gonna be putting your money at, because our banking system is not holding up well, apparently. But beyond that, so we're doing two things. We're looking at a pre-GD course and we're looking at a financial investing course. And I have room for 35 people. I have room for 35 people. So if you know anybody that is looking for GED education and or financial literacy education, then let's start send their names to me. Because we're looking for 35 people to fit in that in that space. And I'll be leading those education classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, subject to change. But right now, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, a couple hours at a time, and it's gonna be the off hours, 6 to 8, stuff like that, where people are actually available. So if you know people that need that, let me know. Otherwise, y'all, we do this thing from 6 to 8 p.m. Every Sunday, and we have various ways of interacting with the show. We got the Facebook, the YouTube, or the Zoom. It's really up to you which option you'd like to choose. And in closing, like I like to say, we got open seats at the table. We just trying to welcome y'all on home. Thank y'all for allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin Council. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Later.
Good night.
Night, y'all.